Hello guys, you are welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to cut a fitted gown with princess darts, not bustier, princess darts. So I'll be showing you how I cut it from beginning to the end. So this is the Ankara fabric I want to use for this tutorial. This is an Ankara print and I'm using just 2 yards for this, for the style that I want to cut. I'm going to be using a princess dart fully on the dress. So the first thing I'm doing is to cut out my front and back bodies. So I just cut out my front bodies, so I want to cut out the back as well. I'm going to add 1 inches to the back body because of the seam allowance. So if today is the first time of watching my channel, you're welcome, and if you are a return subscriber as well, you are welcome as well. God bless you for joining the channel. Thanks for joining the channel. I really appreciate you guys, and I really do appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching this channel. So what I'm doing right now is to cut out the back bodies before I start to do my shaping. First thing I always do is I will first bring out the clothes, the fabric I want to use for the tutorial. I'll bring out my back bodies, my front bodies, then I'll cut it together. That's how I always cut my fabric, except if it's a bustier. If it's a bustier, I cut my back separate and I cut my front separate. So this is it. Can you see it? This is the front and this is the back. I already placed them on each other. So this is it now. This is what I have. This is my back and the front, and this is my 1 inches allowance I had for the seam allowance. I hope you are getting it. So after doing it like this, the first thing I do measure is I'll start from the shoulder measurement. The person's shoulder measurement is 14 divided by 2 will give us 7. Then I will add my ½ inch sewing allowance to the shoulder measurement. I'll add ½ inch allowance to the shoulder measurement. The same thing I measure at the shoulder, that is what I always use for my client armhole, depending on the style though, but this simple style, that is what I always do. Then I'll measure the same thing at this side as well. Then I'm going to do my armhole cuff. I'm going to cuff my armhole. If you don't have your armhole cuff, you can just use your free hand to do that. You can just use your hand to do that. But if you have your French cuff, you can just use it as well. So now I will come to the neckline, because the style I want to make is a turtleneck. So anytime you want to make a turtleneck, definitely the neck will not be wide. So for the back, I use 2 1/4, not 2 1/2. I'm going to be using 2 1/4 by 1 inches for the back. 2 1/4 by 1 inches for the back. Then I'm going to use, for the shoulder slope, I will use 1 inches for my shoulder slope. That is what I always do. I'll use 1 inches for my shoulder slope. Then for the back, I use 2 1/4 by 1 inches. 2 1/4 by 1 inches. So this is my ruler, so I'm going to do the shoulder slope. This is what we have. Now let's move to the front neckline. The one we did earlier is for the back neckline. Can you see that 2 1/4 by 1 is for the back neckline? Then for the front, I'll be using by 3, 2 1/4 by 3. I'll be using 2 1/4 by 3. So let me just do the shaping. So this is it. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to move to is the bust measurement. The person bust measurement is 34 plus 2 inch sewing allowance, and a half length measurement is 14. This is 14. I just chalk that out. Then our waist measurement is 27. 27. Yes, 27 will give us 6.5 1/4. Okay, I think 28. Our waist measurement is 28 plus 2-inch sewing allowance as well. So then I'll move from our waist measurements, our waistline to our hip is 7. From our waistline to our hip is 7. So we have our chest line, our waistline, and our hip line here now. Our hip is 30. Our hip is 34 plus 2-inch sewing allowance. 34 plus 2-inch sewing allowance. So I'm going to connect these 3 lines together. I will connect from the hip to our waist, then I will connect from our waist to our bust together. Can you see what we have? This is what we have. This is what we have right now. So I'm just going to connect from the waist just till down. You can use your ruler, you can use your hip cuff, you can use your straight ruler, you can even use your hand. Can you see I'm already using my hand? I prefer using my straight hand, just like that. So this is what I have. Can you see what we have? Now to the length measurements. So I already added for the folding, for the joining, and etc. on the length measurements. Now, this is our basic body measurements. These are basic body measurements. Before I cut it out, like I said, we are cutting princess darts, not bustier. It's just a princess darts dress, full gown, and it's going to be princess darts. So what I did was that for I'm going to be using 7 for our darts. 7 divided by 2 because the clothes is folded into 2. So you are going to divide your, whether it's the person that is, just measure the person nipple to nipple. So I'm using our nipple to nipple is 7. So I just mark that out, 7. I don't add to our nipple to nipple. I don't add it to it because our bust is just 34. So that's why I don't add to it. Now I'm going to get the half of this thing of my hammer. So I'm going to connect this to this, the half of my hammer. My hammer, the hammer I measured here earlier is 7.5 rather. So 7.5 divided by 2 will give us 3.5 1/4. So it is 3.5 1/4 that I take my dart to at the armhole side. You understand? Now I'll measure 1 inches from here. Can you see that? Then I'll now connect it as shown. The reason why for this is for the bulge at this armhole side. So I'm going to be removing this exact place so that by the time we sew it finish, the armhole side, it will close very well. There will not be anything like something at the armhole side coming up, or the armhole will not be fitted. You understand? That's the reason why for this cutting. Now the next thing I'm doing right now is to cut my fabric out. Let me cut it out. I'm already cutting the neck already. Then I will slant my shoulder slope. I will do that. I'll slant it. I will cut it. Then I'm just going to cut it out. I want you to see how I'm going to cut it. That's why I'm not fasting the video. I want you to see exactly this way I'm going to cut it, one after the other. So the next thing I'm going to cut now is to cut my interfacing for it. I'll be cutting the full lining because it's going to be full lining. And something about this is that the same way you cut the fabric, that is the exact way you're going to cut your lining as well. You understand? You're going to cut your lining the same way so that it will be very, very fine by the time you sew it finished. Thank you so much for joining this channel. So this is it. I'm done cutting it. Please don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for watching the channel. God bless you. Bye.